My name is Grant Schmidt. I'm with the Michael Raven channel, and as a firearms instructor who is a man in the arena, I'm learning. I'm going to pass on to you today how I've learned how to employ a pocket or subcompact pistol. And this was the key when I was using my Smith & Wesson Bodyguard in 380. This was the key that immediately, boom, I was able to focus on all the other fundamentals. Once my grip was set and I no longer had to do this game every time, everything else fell into place. It's a little different than, let's say, a full frame handgun. The important thing to recognize here is that we adapt ourselves to the firearm, not the other way around. The biggest complaint I hear about pocket pistols or subcompact pistols from new students is that it doesn't fit their big hands. No matter how big your hands are, reasonably speaking, you can effectively employ a pocket pistol. It's just a matter of learning the 7 fundamentals of pistol marksmanship and adjusting 2 major ones to be able to be both precise and accurate. The biggest myth about pocket pistols is that they're made for small people. The second biggest myth is that pocket and subcompact pistols are inaccurate or imprecise because they don't have a long barrel length. It's simply not true. It's only as accurate and precise as you are with that tool. So today I have a Ruger LCP chambered in 380, and I'm going to demonstrate, as this is the first time I've used this particular pistol as opposed to the Bodyguard 380 by Smith & Wesson that I used to carry frequently. And it was a steep learning curve. It comes down to adjusting 2 fundamentals: your sight alignment as well as your grip/stance. So we're starting off with sight alignment. With a longer handgun, it's easier for our eye, for one eye, to focus on the front sight. And our eyes must always focus on a single plane. That's how our eyes work. Co-witness shooting or keeping both eyes open is something different, which I'm not going to discuss. It's the same whether you're using a very long 1911 or a LCP. You always want to stay focused on the front sight and keep equal amount of air and gap between the rear sights with the front sight in the middle. If you have unequal gap on both sides, you're gonna put your shot either too far to the left or the right. You can employ a pocket pistol out to great distances. It's simply going to take mastering you being able to focus on the front sight as the middle plane, as opposed to focusing on all of the sights. And you'll have to figure out how to put your front sight over the target, and you may have to cover the target that you're using, what some people call burying or covering the target, or having your sight hover over the target, and be able to know where that big front sight post, that big front block, and relative to the target that's way out in the distance, where you need to hover over your target in order to hit where you want. The second fundamental that we're going to adjust is grip. So grip also comes naturally with a larger handgun. When a lot of people say that their hands don't fit the firearm, they're actually not employing their grip properly anyway. You should be able to take a larger handgun and almost pinky out with it, gentlemanly like sipping tea or something. You are really only applying pressure with your firing hand here. You're not doing it here. A pocket pistol is a little different because really we can only get this hand onto the firearm, and we may need to be prepared to be able to employ it one-handed. If you're sacrificing shot placement, you need more practice. Don't employ that firearm until you're ready. Because no matter what the ballistics are, whether you're 22, 380, 45, shot placement is always the key. So when we use a grip for a full-size handgun, it comes more intuitively. We're managing recoil through our skeleton and our stance. With a pocket pistol, it's a little different. What you want to do is practice this or compare this. Without a firearm, hold your hands together and squeeze as tightly as possible. Or you can even squeeze your hands together as tightly as possible. And what you'll know is your muscles are being engaged from your pecs to your upper arm muscles, and you're really engaging your muscles. And what a lot of people do with a pocket pistol is they try to squeeze as much as possible, because after the first shot is good, they find they have to readjust grip. And a lot of people, when using pocket pistols, you can watch them on the range, they're constantly shooting and doing this, shooting and doing this. And that's not good, because in a defensive situation, we may be using follow-up shots, but we cannot sacrifice our shot placement. So if you feel a need to keep firing in a defensive situation, but meanwhile you're losing control of your pistol, that's bad. So we have to adjust our grip. So instead, if you're with somebody, you can have them put out a hand, and then you would clap on their hand, or you could just do this by yourself. Clap your hands, put them out, elbows slightly bent, and turn your wrists inward. I'm not compressing with my upper arm muscles and my pecs. I'm just turning my wrists inward. And what you'll feel is, you see I can still move these fingers, which wouldn't be much on the firearm anyway. And I'm exerting control not through my skeleton and not through my muscles, but through muscle elasticity, my tendons. So I'm simply turning inwards. My tendons are being stretched, and they're working against me, and it's creating a great deal of pressure on the inside of my hands, right where I want them. So again, I'm clapping, and then I turn my forearms inwards. And because you don't have to work as hard to grip, you can now focus on trigger control. With a pocket pistol, it's going to be more difficult. With a Bodyguard 380, the break was all the way to the rear, all the way up against the firearm. Now that you are able to, and this range is all clear, I'm the only one here. Now that you're able to focus on everything else, I could sit here all day, as opposed to, and my hands are shaking, and I'm going to get muscle tremors soon. I'm not going to be able to focus on breath control, and my breath control won't be able to keep up with my squeezing muscles, and it just won't work. And then I'll have to sit here and readjust every time. That's not what we want. Hold the firearm out, forearms in, and squeeze. That's all it is. Do this all day. I like this, forearms in, and I focus on trigger control. And my sight alignment, my sight picture, breath control, follow through, everything. Forearms in. There we go. Basically all there is to it. As opposed to me being very aggressive, firearm's now empty, me being very aggressive, and it's just not sustainable with this kind of pistol if you lose your grip. Try it out, see how it works for you. Let me know how it works for you. Comment, subscribe, and good shooting. And remember, shot placement in a defensive situation is going to be everything.